Good afternoon and welcome to this episode of It's Your City. My name is Misty Allen and I'm the Suicide Prevention Coordinator with the state of Nevada. The Office of Suicide Prevention began in 2005. We have an office in Reno and an office in Las Vegas with 4 staff members that work tirelessly across the state to deal with this silent epidemic of suicide. Why do we have an Office of Suicide Prevention? Nevada has the 4th highest rate of suicide in the nation. For many decades, we were the highest rate in the nation, but with our efforts at prevention, I think we are slowly trying to bring that rate down. In Nevada, it is the 3rd leading cause of death among our youth, and our older adults have the highest rates across the nation. It is a very important topic, and our motto at the Office of Suicide Prevention is it's everybody's business. It takes all community members to tackle this issue. We have to work on how we see and hear things in our community, in our family, in our schools, in our places of business. And the better we are aware of what to look for and how to help, the safer we will be. So I'm going to go into a little bit of what we do at the Office of Suicide Prevention. First, we deal with the prevention components. How do we improve wellness? What are the risk factors for suicide that we look for? And what are the protective factors we want to improve upon and enhance in our schools, communities, our tribes, our rural communities and our urban communities? The protective factors and risk factors can vary across the different groups, different cultures, and different age groups. So when we come into a community, we try and do a lot of awareness training and gatekeeper training. We want to help community members know what to look for first, what to do, and how to connect to that help. So some of the things you want to look for are losses. Anyone who has had a major loss, be it a relationship loss, a health loss, a loss of job, home, freedom, those kinds of situations can lead to increased stressors in a person. And then you might see mental health concerns such as depression, bipolar disorder, other kinds of circumstances that are straining our ability to cope. You might notice someone's increasing alcohol or substance use. They're withdrawing from friends and family, isolating themselves. These are really big invitations for help that we want to be aware of. Once we see a risk factor and a warning sign for help, we want to sit down with them. So I'm going to show you a couple more things we can look for in our friends and families. Ideation is any thoughts, actions, drawings that might communicate, I wish to die, I wish to take my life. Substance abuse, so they might never have used a substance or alcohol and they all of a sudden are starting to use or increasing use. That could be a sign that they're trying to medicate, self-medicate an issue that could be handled probably with the care of a physician or a mental health professional. Or they've had a trauma that they're trying to escape from, numb the pain. We also have purposelessness or burdensomeness. That's a very big one. You often hear that suicide is a very selfish act, but truly when that person is in that suicidal fog, that kind of tunnel vision, they aren't seeing that. They are seeing that they are a burden on their friends and loved ones. And if they take their life, then maybe their family would be better off, which is not true. That is a perception that they can't see around. So as helpers, we can help break that perception that no, you're not a burden. We need you in our lives. So we look for purposelessness and burdensomeness. Anxiety can be a big component. Also feeling trapped, be it trapped in a difficult situation that they can't get out of, trapped in a dangerous relationship, trapped by incarceration. So they see that taking their life is the only escape, which once again is not the case, but they can't see the reality that might be there. Hopelessness, that's always at the point of that crisis. They don't see a way to continue. I mentioned the withdrawal. So they might have been very social, but all of a sudden they're not visiting with friends, they're not having dinner with the family, they're isolating. And that increases depression, which increases withdrawal and isolation and becomes a very dangerous cycle. You also might notice anger, fighting behavior. That could be a risk factor and a warning sign. Recklessness, such as fast driving, driving while intoxicated without a seatbelt. that can also be a risk factor for suicide, a warning sign that they might be contemplating ending their lives. And finally, a very important one that's often missed, a mood change. We might see our loved one, they have been depressed for many weeks or months, and all of a sudden they're feeling better. That can be a sign that they are trying to take our watchful eyes off of them so that they can plan. Or they have come up with an idea of how to end the pain that they're in. Because suicide is not about dying per se, it's about wanting to end pain. So if we can help them find other options, then that takes suicide out of the equation. So the mood change will be being uplifting because they have found a way to relieve that pain. Something we can do is approach them and say, I am so relieved you're feeling better. What has changed for you? And kind of explore what they might have encountered to make them better in reality, or really it starts a conversation on what really might be happening and that their risk for suicide is still there. So those are just a few of the warning signs we might want to look for and be aware of. But there's thousands of signs because people are so unique. So really what I tell friends and loved ones is, you know how your family member or your friend acts typically. When you see major changes in behavior, emotions, and appearance, it might be worth exploring that something is going on that we need to have a deeper conversation about. So once we might recognize that someone's at risk or having thoughts of suicide, we do a very brief model. Show you care, ask the question, get help. Show you care is really the first point of making connection with that person that feels very alone and isolated, or if they're withdrawing. So we might approach them and say, I've noticed that you're withdrawing from us, you're not attending you're not attending church regularly, you never miss a day, and you seem to be coming in late to work all the time. That really concerns me. Right there, when you show that you've noticed the warning signs, it builds a connection that they're not alone anymore and that there's a possibility for hope, that you care when they didn't feel that anyone would miss them. After you've shown you cared, it leads into asking the question about suicide. When someone is withdrawing from friends and family and isolating themselves and dropping out of things they used to love to do, sometimes it means there's something going on, possibly something like suicide. Are you thinking of suicide? We ask about suicide very openly and directly. That is really important. If we aren't able to ask directly, they're not going to feel confident in answering honestly because they don't want to be that burden. So we always train people to say directly, are you thinking of suicide? And that gives them permission to talk openly and honestly about their thoughts. Finally, once that question's out, we want to connect them to help for further intervention. And I'm going to talk about several trainings we have at the Office of Suicide Prevention that can build these levels of comprehensive suicide prevention in our communities. But connecting to that help is crucial. And there's a variety of resources that can offer help. There's no one pathway to that help. But the most important piece is that no one should try and help someone with thoughts of suicide in isolation. We need to bring in a team of support, be it other friends, be it faith if they're a faith-based community, be it their doctor, their mental health professional. What is it that's going to give them the most support as they work through their thoughts of suicide and build towards wanting to live? Another important option on getting help is if there isn't an option for them to be intervened upon, we need to call emergency services in. That could be calling 911 if they've already taken something to do themselves harm, or if they have had so much alcohol or drugs in their system that you can't have this discussion. We need to get them to a hospital, an emergency room, or bring 911 in to help. But another option is the Suicide Prevention Lifeline, 1-800-273-8255. That is a toll-free number available anywhere in the United States, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And you don't have to be the one in crisis. You could be a family member calling to help your son, daughter, mother, your neighbor, and ask them, what do I do? This is what's going on. You can also use the hotline to check on someone, maybe in New York. Maybe your uncle is having thoughts of suicide and you're worried. The hotline can call them if you give them the information and do an assessment on their risk. Another wonderful thing the hotline does, and here in Nevada, Crisis Call Center is our suicide prevention lifeline. They are wonderful. So they can help guide you on getting what you need, be it just listening, getting emergency services, or just giving them resources for support. But you are a crucial role in helping this. We could not do this without you being out in the communities, out in the schools, in your homes, noticing that someone is in danger. And then we will be there at the Office of Suicide Prevention to guide you with resources and training. Some of the trainings we have to offer are a 1-hour gatekeeper and awareness training. We do a safe talk training, which is about 3 hours long, on becoming a suicide alert caregiver. And then one of our premier trainings is ASSIST, Applied Suicide Intervention Skills Training. That teaches you suicide first aid. These trainings are for any level. We want all community members, all caregivers to be a part of this. So we have a wonderful opportunity coming up here in Carson City on April 30th. We are offering a Safe Talk, Suicide Alertness for Everyone training. It is from 1 to 4 p.m. here at the Brewery Arts Center. For more information or to register, please call the Office of Suicide Prevention, and you'll have information on your screen to follow up on this. But it is a great opportunity for community members here in Carson City to become more alert and work towards making your community suicide safer. Thank you so much for your time, and just know that you're not alone out there. There is always a place to turn for help. Thank you very much for joining us on Explore City.